I firmly believe that ICBM Escalation is a hidden RTS gem that any RTS or grand strategy gamer should add to their wishlist and consider when it's next on sale. In this video, I'll give you 7 reasons why I feel so strongly about this. But first, here's a brief too long didn't read summary for those that haven't heard of ICBM Escalation before. The game is set on a global map with real-time controls and some automation too. You command a continental-ish sized army from the Second World War up to the near future and everything in between, with single-player scenarios that include the Korean War, Cold War gone hot scenarios with plenty of what-if and alt history to play with. You deploy and upgrade a vast array of fixed and movable units, including satellites, missile silos, army divisions, spy planes, nuclear subs, carrier groups, swarms of planes, and a bazillion missiles. But more than that, there is diplomacy, espionage, and plenty of research to keep you scratching your chin for hours on end. It can be brutal, it can be stressful, but most of all, ICBM Escalation can be a heck of a lot of fun. If that tickles your fancy, or if you're not sure, here are 7 reasons why I consider this game to be a hidden gem that you should consider when it's next on sale. I would describe ICBM Escalation as a light version of Hearts of Iron 4, a game that released in 2016 and is still going ludicrously strong, so it must be doing something right. Now, ICBM Escalation isn't as deep as HOI 4, but it does hit most of the same notes that make that game special, while also extending way beyond World War II. There are alternative history scenarios, such as America just decided to keep going after World War II and conquer the world. But the first similarity that really struck me was in the tech tree. In both games, you can research technologies and weapons that are more advanced for the era that you're in, but there is a time penalty for doing so, to stop things getting out of hand. So you won't see a B-2 Spirit in the Second World War, but you could deploy them sooner than they actually were. Speaking of tech, you can use espionage to steal it from other nations, or at least get a jump start on something in particular, which I thought was a very cool feature. But not only that, you can share technology that you have with your allies, who may turn out to not be your allies further into the game, but hey, that's all part of the fun. Now, this game does see you commanding a heck of a lot of units, and potentially all over the globe at the same time. If you want to, you can absolutely control every single unit in real time by individually clicking. You can group units by binding them to the F keys, and you can queue up orders. But one of the best features of the game is the ability to create and execute war plans. Yep, another HOI 4 similarity. These plans can be as simple as all of this type of unit, go attack all of that type of unit. But they can be so much more detailed than that, commanding different elements of multiple battle groups. And better yet, you can devise multiple war plans and execute them simultaneously or in stages, bringing a different element to the game as you pause and scratch your beard while mulling over your latest war plans. And of course, it just makes everything more manageable too. The map in ICBM Escalation is also very cool. You can view it as a standard flat map version of the world, but at the tap of a button, you can turn the map into a sphere, which, I don't know, I just found it a really cool way to play. It makes you realize you can shoot missiles over the North Pole, and speaking of which, I was incredibly excited when I found out submarines can travel under the ice to open up unexpected attacking options. The way the game handles production and research is as intuitive as it is ingenious. You own cities, from which you derive GDP. You plow that GDP into your unit and building construction, but also into your research. You can build anything you want, but only one at a time, and some take longer than others. A fighter jet is ready almost instantly, whereas a nuclear sub might take a few minutes. Similarly, you queue up research and the game churns through them one at a time, and you can switch up the order at any time. But the best bit is the sliding scale that determines what percentage of your output goes on production and how much goes on research. It's a beautifully simple system that constantly forces you to choose between having more stuff and having better stuff. It's a constant compromise that makes the game easy to understand, but also at the same time leveling up the gameplay. The single-player content includes several campaigns made up of multiple missions. The research you unlock earlier in the campaign carries over into future missions, and also whether you complete secondary objectives or not has a knock-on impact. I'm not sure that ticks all of the boxes to describe it as a dynamic campaign, but it certainly has that vibe about it, at least. The final reason to add ICBM Escalation to your wish list is that it's just had a big free update. There's a new campaign, but more interestingly than that, there's been a large AI overhaul. AI can often be the downfall of an otherwise decent strategy game, and I'm pleased to report that this game's AI does appear logical. It reacts to what you do in a logical manner, and sometimes even illogically. For example, I found myself facing a Chinese aircraft carrier in the Korean War. Unexpected for sure, but kudos to the AI for trying something different. There are many, many other reasons to see this game as a hidden gem, but I like the number 7, so decided to stick with that. Screw it, let's chuck a few more things in before we go. The game is relatively easy to learn, which is good because the missions are tough as old nuts, a potent combination. The game looks great. They're not AAA graphics, but this kind of game needs a clean and logical look. ICBM Escalation gives you that, while also looking pretty good at the same time. You can approach missions in any way you like. In the very first mission, I tried spamming naval power, then air power, then land power. I tried chemical weapons, invading China early to give them something else to think about. This game presents you with problems. Then there are multiple solutions for you to try. There's genuinely a lot of single-player content in this game, but there is also PvP multiplayer if that's more your jam. Then finally, you can pick the game up with a 20% discount when it's occasionally on sale. So in summary, this game is great, you should add it to your wishlist, you've been amazing, leave a like if you like, subscribe if you enjoy RTS, grand strategy and city builder content that respects your time, and I'll see you in the next one.